And then Mayor and Council, the last item I have, it's kind of been hanging out there, and I just, wanted to know if there was council consensus or you wanted to give me council direction as it relates to this whole issue of a de-annexation from the library district. And I know it came up at a meeting before I went out of town, and then when I was out of town, it came up again. And I think last week, a member of the council might have mentioned it. And if that's something, I just need to know if that's something that you want to undertake or not. And if so, we can certainly do that. I just want to say, just from a capacity standpoint, we're in budget right now. So I would need a little bit of time to actually do the study itself, or bring in some assistance to do it. But I just need some consensus or some direction, Mayor.
Yep, let's open it up for discussion. Mr. Anderson and Mr. Branstetter.
Yeah, I don't think it's a particularly time-sensitive issue, but I would like to see at least good back of the envelope numbers on what it would mean. I suspect from my back of the envelope numbers that it may be too expensive to be a viable alternative in the long run. But I would like to make an informed decision when I vote no, rather than try to justify to people that, yeah, we thought about that and didn't think it was a good idea. I'd like to be able to say, we didn't have $1.5 million a year to subsidize it, and we didn't think a bond had passed to build the building. But I think we should have somewhat close to real numbers to make this decision in an informed manner.
Mr. Branstetter.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with at least looking at it as a feasibility type study, and would kind of like to have at least some rudimentary knowledge about what that option looks like. I don't expect that option to come out of the Library Advisory Committee. But as we hear what they're recommending that and the process and timelines that they have, this will give us something to compare it to, and something for the community to compare it to. I mean, ultimately, the long-term resolution of a permanent library in Lakewood is going to be left up to the voters to decide whether they want to foot the bill to be able to go and do that. You know, we lived off of a free library for 50 years, but now there's some cost to it. And I'd rather get started on that now rather than waiting until we hear what the Library Advisory Committee and the Library Board now think what we should do, so that we're
ready,
able to do that.
Mayor Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, I'm thinking that we needed to wait to see what the new management plans are before we step up to take over that portion of it. If they have plans, then we can see how we can support them, rather than giving them the option to think that we are going to do it. It's just the way my brain worked.
Ms. Farmer.
I agree with Councilmember Anderson that this is not time sensitive. At least it isn't to me. I do not want to get out ahead of the Library Advisory Committee. We in good faith, the city helped put that committee in place, and others may want to get out ahead of it, but I personally don't. I don't know that we want to be in the library business, but I do know that we do need to have the information. We do need to make an informed decision. But I don't know. We're going to go into budget season, and so that's a pretty big ask of staff. So I would prefer we wait a little while.
Sounds like we have consensus to do it. It sounds like the discretion as to when is with you on your staff availability. And as we've heard, we don't want to jump ahead of the committee's work on behalf of the library district at this time. But it's something we want to learn about and be ready to discuss at some point in the fall or late fall, early winter.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.